Hello, friend, watchers, YouTubers. I like to tape different scenes for these videos slash podcast. It may not even be my house. You know, they might have a great knickknack section or scenery. So I might ask, can I film while I'm doing a video? And they usually say, yeah, sure, fine, go ahead. I like you to see a pleasant background. That's beautiful. And once again, uh, never taken any money for any of this. This isn't about money. I'm going to explain that God is just about to judge, judge the world, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it. Okay. Now, granted, the last three feast days, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Feast of Tabernacles, there's a lot of differences of opinion when you listen to different YouTubers regarding these dates. But if you'll notice, they're pretty close together. So all I can simply say is we are in a very high watch period. And I'm going to even get more specific as to why. The dates really aren't that far apart. So don't get all upset like, oh, this person said this date and this person said this date. It's a tough subject. Okay? Bottom line, it's a tough subject. Okay. Now, October 25th was when the partial solar eclipse took place. And that's when our leader tentatively went over to Israel to divide the land. And it's interesting to me that that partial eclipse was right over Russia. See, God's in perfect control. He was trying to say that Ezekiel 38 and Ezekiel chapter 39 is just about to take place. And I'm going to tell you some more interesting things about that partial solar eclipse on October 25th. You're going to be amazed. God is putting his signature in the sky that he's just about to judge the world. And he's just, prior to that, he's going to rapture his church. He's even put his signature in the sky for that, too. Now, I think it's interesting that the blood moon on November 8th will be for 3 days. And I'm going to talk about that, too, okay? Babylon. Look at the names of these asteroids. I've never seen anything like this. Babylon, Russia. I mean, could it be more blunt? Well, Babylon enters the constellation of, I believe it's Libra, during 11/11/22, November 11th, 2022. Now, we're in the 118th Jubilee. And that started on Yom Kippur, whenever you want to believe the true Yom Kippur was. Once again, there's differences of opinion on that. Don't get too upset on that, But Psalm 118 is the center chapter in the Bible, and 118 mirrors 11/8, November 8th. That's when the blood moon will take place. These numbers mirror each other. Okay. It's interesting that in a lot of these eclipses, that they peak at 11 o'clock. It's God flashing the number 11 to the world. I'm about to judge the world. I had said in the last video, I kept seeing the number 1111. And I don't even know what this means. And then God finally showed me last week in the morning that people were saying that the true anniversary of the flood was November 11th, 1111, the 11th month, the 11th day. But so many other people have been seeing 1111. It's almost like our angel is telling us we're just about to be raptured. You know, when Jesus said there's going to be signs in the sun, moon, and the stars, he meant that literally. He's actually telling a story in the sky. Okay. Now you know that Joel 2:31 and Acts 2:20 says that in the last days the sun will be darkened and the moon will turn to blood for 3 days. So it's interesting that from November 8th to the 11th, this blood moon will last for 3 days. Is that what Jesus was talking about in the Bible? You know what? We're going to have to wait and see on that. Okay. Okay, December 13th, the digital dollar is coming out. Okay, that's when they want the digital dollar. It's almost as if these people know all this stuff is going to happen, so now we're going to be able to put the digital dollar out. And the real truth of the matter is, on a primal level, the reason why they want this is because they can check people. Are you complying? Okay, well, you can buy, you can sell. I think it's also interesting that people around the world are hearing trumpets. And I think it's also interesting that you look how focused Israel is on Syria. You know, and that matches Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1, the burden of Damascus. But they have been so fixated, and there have even been many wars in Damascus or Syria. And that's amazing. So, well, anyway, the mainstream media is saying that the U.S. is going to run out of diesel oil in 30 days at the end of November. That's actually a generous estimate. Quite frankly, a lot of people are saying by the middle of November. And look at the whole world. Because of those two severed pipelines, they're nervous, they're scared. You know, they're saying that we're going to go cold this winter. And I'm going to explain why these energy crises. I'm going to talk about that later in the video, okay? To only divert to people are now starting to have dreams and visions about a very caustic, barren winter. So that's kind of interesting. Now I want to put this video / podcast on a more personal level. You know, we know a person that fell into extreme hardships over here. And, I mean, he lost all his money 2 different times. He unjustly lost his job. People around here know this. And, you know, one time he did a lawn job. He took him like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And people know that he's a hardship case. He's working for his money. And, you know, this one person gave this guy $20. And there was another case where he's a proven hard worker, actually. And the person that owns this business knew he was a hardship case, hard worker. And they got along. But he decided to hire a person a little more affluent. There's almost this mentality, a lack of generosity, a lack of hospitality over here in the U.S. That, I'm over here, you're over there. I'm fine, you're not. It's not me, it's you. Okay? It's your problem. Now, granted, it's always been that way. Okay? Seriously, it's always been that way, but I've never seen it this bad. I've never seen it this bad. And it's a shame. So let me just move on with this report. Uh, I mean, this is that's Bible prophecy. It really is. Because I'm seeing something very distinct that's abnormal. It's not right. It's off. Anyway, Daigle.com predicts that the population will decrease by 50 to 80% by the year 2025. Now, that's a lot. And they're even breaking down the countries, and those numbers are significantly reduced. Um, and they're just coming right out and saying it. This isn't me saying this. This is them saying this. Well, our leader over here says the U.S. will be the leader, or the forerunner to the NWO. Well, that's for sure. I mean, just look around. And it's kind of interesting to me that COP26 is, November 14th, November 15th, November 16th, and it's supposedly on climate change. But, my sense is it's more about politics and economics. So, but look at the dates. There's this one person that said the true anniversary of the flood is November 11th, 12th, or 13th. This is the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th. He didn't know for sure, okay? And I just want to talk about that too, because a lot of people are saying that the anniversary of the flood is Halloween, October 31st. And there's other people that are saying the later version is November 11th. So, that was either a mouse or a squirrel. Okay, you can probably hear it. Okay, I'm not a calendar expert, but these are the two dates that are coming up. And what I shared last week, where I saw three people. Two of them were kids that had dreams of Halloween and the rapture in connection with each other. Now, I don't know when the rapture is going to be, but there was even a lady that had a dream, and she claims that the rapture is going to be right around Halloween. So I have not received any of these dreams or visions, but I think we ought to take it serious. I'm not saying the rapture is going to happen on Halloween. I'm saying that other people are having dreams that the rapture is in connection with Halloween, and I think it's interesting to note. Okay. Now, a lot of people are having various dreams of moons in connection with the rapture. Well, the moon symbolizes the bride of Christ. So, look at how loud God is talking. Okay, I want to make a point. In 2020, there were 4 partial solar eclipses, and then the pandemic happened. And then there were 4 partial solar eclipses in 2021. And then 911, I'm sorry. I got that wrong. There were 4 partial solar eclipses in 2001, and 911 happened on a Tuesday. Okay, I want to remember that day of the week, Tuesday. And there were 4 partial solar eclipses in 2020, and then the pandemic happened. Now, isn't it interesting that the blood moon on November 8th is on a Tuesday? Isn't it interesting back in October 25th, the partial solar eclipse took place on a Tuesday? The Tuesday stands for judgment, okay? I don't know when God's going to wrap this up. I'm not smart enough to give you a date for the rapture. But I can tell you this right now, we're in an extremely high watch period. In my opinion, the beginning, the first half of November is a higher watch period than December. Not saying that December's not a watch period. I'm saying, in my opinion, the first half of November is a higher watch period than December. Okay, let me just say that the U.S. has always been great because we've always had cheap energy. That's why we've been great. But see, when energy collapses, the economy collapses. And this really happens according to the Bible after the rapture. So this is how close we are. And it's also interesting to me that the Pope called for a new worldwide system with food, health, economic, and social rights. This sounds like it's coming right out of the book of Daniel. So, friend, if you don't know the Lord, I think the rapture could take place at any moment, any second. I really do. You could be watching this video and he could interrupt the whole video. So if you don't know the Lord, I would accept him into your heart as your personal Savior and Lord. And if you do know the Lord, if you're not right with God, if something's wrong, now's the time to get it right. Okay? It's that urgent. I wouldn't be talking with this sense of urgency if I really didn't believe that we were close. So, all right, friend, listen, I'm going to sign off now. God bless you, okay?